Fear or faith, they may sound like complete opposites, but in truth, they're actually two sides of the same coin. Fear sits on one end of the teeter-totter and faith sits on the other, creating a giant continuum scale with varying degrees in between. We might experience moments of complete fear or complete faith, but the majority of our lives is experienced in one of the many places in between. Moving along this continuum is what I call the hero's journey. Long before I was introduced to Superman with his dreaded kryptonite, I knew of young David with his little slingshot, who bravely took down a giant with a single pebble, while grown men in armor stood cowering beside him. As a child, I longed to have that kind of faith. I wanted to stand bravely in the face of fear, choose faith, and rise victoriously. I was much older when I realized just how much courage that type of faith actually takes. On a beautiful fall day in 1992, I stood before my God and vowed to obey, serve, love, honor, and cherish my future husband in sickness and in health to death do us part. At the tender age of 23, I had made a commitment with no way out. Two beliefs deeply drilled into my mind throughout my childhood. You made a commitment before God, and God hates divorce, sealed my fate that day. I sat in the grips of depression for many dark days that turned into months, years, and then decades. I desperately tried to reconcile myself to my fate. It didn't matter that the man I fell in love with disappeared the day I said I do. I made a commitment before God, and God hates divorce. It didn't matter that my husband slammed me against the wall to prevent me from seeking an annulment shortly after our honeymoon. I made a commitment before God, and God hates divorce. It didn't matter that my husband threatened to kill me after our child was born when I asked for a short break and a few hours of sleep. I made a commitment before God, and God hates divorce. It didn't matter. Nothing mattered. Two beliefs that were imprinted on me in my childhood condemned me to staying in an abusive marriage for 20 years. I was 43 when life presented me with the opportunity to embrace faith like my childhood heroes, and I bravely took it. Like David, I was faced with two choices: remain still and surely die, or stand up and fight for myself, facing insurmountable odds, in a body so broken I could barely tend to my most basic needs, with no access to marital funds, and feeling like God would forever hate me. I filed for divorce. It took every ounce of courage and every bit of strength I could muster to take that step, to launch that pebble at my giant. I had no idea what would happen. I had no idea if I would even survive. All I knew was that there was something important I needed to do, and that if I didn't file for divorce, I would surely die. In hindsight, that lack of knowing was my saving grace, a true blessing. Had I known what lied ahead of me, I may have never found the strength to take that first step. God was with me every step of the way. As I grew in strength, so too did my faith. On that fall day in 2012, I chose peace. I chose to live. I chose me. I finally chose me. When we choose life over death, peace over chaos, faith over fear, God will always meet us there in that place of the unknown. It won't go the way you think it will. It may get worse before it gets better, but it will get better. I promise you, it will get better. It will eventually be beyond your greatest expectations, but you have to walk the path. You have to face your fears and keep choosing faith. You'll be tested repeatedly. You see, we can't live on one end of the continuum spectrum for decades and then in an instant flip to the other side. It doesn't work that way. It's a journey, an empowering hero's journey, a journey of remembering who we truly are, and it happens one step at a time. There'll be days when we'll take 2 steps forward and days we'll take a step backwards, but we keep moving, keep going towards the other side of the continuum where the light of faith fully shines. We start as Superman or woman on the fear end of the scale with kryptonite zapping our power. But as we bravely step away from our fears, we gradually get stronger. Along the way, we realize that we are invincible sparks of the divine, that nothing can ever truly hurt us. We realize that we have always been superheroes in disguise. You were never meant to remain in fear. You were never meant to remain small. You came here to remember and embrace the totality of who you truly are, to break free from the shackles of fear and limitations, and to step into the truth of your divinity. You came to transform your life of hell and bring heaven here to earth. Haven't you heard the voice inside of you telling you that you're here to do something important, urging you to break free of everything you've ever known and take that scary first step into the unknown? That voice is never going to go away, because that voice is you. It's your future self that knows who you are and why you came. That voice is tenderly, lovingly calling you to step into your brightest, most amazing future, your divine birthright, your inheritance. It's all waiting for you. What giant is threatening you? What scary first step are you terrified to take? What will it take for you to step out of the grip of fear and into a life of faith? Your superhero self is waiting for you. Until next time, be gentle with yourself and remember, you are so much more than you've allowed yourself to believe.